Yeah, hi, this is Dr. Lueth, and I really, the audio is coming. I just can't freaking yell. And when I put the headset, it's still the 28th. It's 10:11 p.m. on New York time. And hang on. Like a goalie. Oh. No, just kidding. Yeah, I have to do this now. But yeah, I mentioned air quote astral plane, and it's titled in a way. Okay, but I'll get to that. And yeah, what I was going to mention about Ronnie Radke is that, well, a lot of people might have a tendency to think that he's using some sort of like special microphone or right, like stuff, but he's not though. Like his voice is not modulated though. It's just how he sings. Because I can tell the difference. Okay. Anyway, I know, like, oof, it's getting unruly. Anyway, I know I'm chuckling at myself. Like, wow. Yeah. Right. I can tell the difference. It doesn't matter like what process anybody uses. It's just his voice, his singing voice. Right. It's not modulated that much. It's not right. Anyway, just to tell you, I know that. Anyway, yeah, the astral plane. Okay. Humans can, but angels can. You understand? So if you got angels, if you got, okay, you can share information in it. Okay, but humans don't have anything to freaking do it. Also, I saw a bunch of shit about sex magic and that needs to be removed because that's not even right. They're just fucking themselves all up, and no, it's not. Nobody's gonna unfuck you. Like if you really wanted a short ride, well, you're getting one. Okay, the reason in scripture that it says, I'm trying to spare everybody as much as I can, as much difficulty and trouble as I can. Okay, I'm allowed to do it, but not everybody is. I'm also allowed to put out warnings, but I'm saying point blank, the warning time is over. Many who did not heed. Deep sea organism, you dodos. It's a full title. Holy moly. I know what it is because I put it there. Because some of them can't see in any way the outer ring like others can. where any possible sensation that a human could have. You're not gaining, you're not using all these extra senses. You're walking yourselves to your own deaths. So fucking go. But the females really should find freedom. This is a blow like crazy. Not dudes. Whatever they fucking call it. Why? Why did I have to, why did I have to handle your fucking complaints? Excuse me? Which one of you fucking killed my child? Oh, I know which one. That's called murder, Mr. Tom Cruise. And you did die once, didn't you? No, you didn't get a new body, did you? Yeah, here's one. Here's the look. Some do this. Right. And I kind of side stink eye. No, you're wrong. There are 12 dimensions. And certainly nothing human oriented in those ways. Yeah, scripture only applies to Earth, not the whole universe. Right. To anybody using any kind of planetary calculation. You're doing it wrong. A lot of that stuff doesn't look like that. I know they filter certain wavelengths of light and blah, 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 blah. Well, I know what they're looking for, but they're not going to find it. Anyway, right. So, that's kind of a misunderstanding. Communication does happen, but it's only because of angels. Keep the top of Ararat frozen. And those of you are like, oh, I like to eat better. I'm like, oh, trust me. No, you're going to find out. There's nothing I can do about that. Free will. Well, there's some don't need it. Okay. But if it's a gift, it's given, right? Anyway, but that is why those looking at scripture and you're trying to figure out when this whole thing is going to happen, stupid rapture and all that, get caught up with Jesus. It quite literally means Jesus gets you caught up. Anyway, so, but the reason why it says that, no one knows, not even the angels, is because of free will. Right? So even air quote, God doesn't really know because some of it's human dependent. You understand? So, at a certain point in time, you can get an estimate based on certain things. It's a certain block of time, but that's as good as you're going to get. So, if there's anyone on YouTube or anywhere else claiming God in the Judeo-Christian, and it's actually Muslim too. You guys don't understand in churches, apparently. Anyway, that's why it's always going to be a rough estimate. Certain things have to happen before other things can happen. Right. And so even that, it's an unknown for one. But at a certain point in time, when certain things start happening, then there's a chunk of time. But if anybody's running around, but here's one. I'm going to do my impression. Listen carefully. Those who cannot withstand any kind of correction, avoid them at all costs. Don't try. Don't try. There's just a big old gigantic exhausting headache nobody needs. Don't try. Those who just absolutely cannot accept correction of any kind, leave them. Okay? But that is one. Now, there's somebody who was on YouTube several years back. It happens. They're always trying to say, I know what's going to happen. Well, no, you fucking don't, because God doesn't even know, you lying sacks of shit. Because it's human dependent. Free will. They have to pick up. They have certain things must happen. You understand? Before other things can happen. So, any of them, they're just full of crap, is what they are. Avoid them. Just skip them. Okay, but there's one. I'm going to use this, right? The mockers and scoffers. Well, you can give me a hard time, but, as of September 21st, whatever, I think it was like 2017 or 18 or 17, I won't be here. Mockers and scoffers. Well, he couldn't withstand correction, and he was fucking wrong, because there's the next day, well, just a minor, like, enough. It's human dependent, and it's based on free will. And so it's always going to be variables. At a certain point in time, though, some things become more clear, but they have to happen in a certain order. Okay. Right? Get it? Nobody knows. So shut your faces. But I'm trying to avoid your embarrassment of large varieties. Do you understand? But that guy is an example of one who just refused correction. That one. Okay, mockers and scoffers. Didn't matter what anybody typed. Didn't want anybody put in the comments. He's just sure, 100%. And guess what? A wrong old pal. None of you can do it. So stop trying. Perhaps he has not made it possible yet. If you're reaching out to grab on to somebody to help them out, always best case scenario. Never like this. Muscles don't typically hold as long. Finger muscles, you understand? Maybe pianists, guitarists, people who work with their hands, but most, you gotta do it like this. Okay? Got it? That's your best chance there. Get it? All right. So I went through that. Yeah, nobody knows, so ignore all that crap. The world already fucking. It already ended. Right, but they need to be shut down, those kind. Right. Well, it's not a cult. People don't understand that very well. It's just too deeply. I can say disturbed. Took something the wrong way. At least one of them. It is. It's usually male female couples. They just one will buy illusion after delusion after delusion after delusion. And the impressionables that don't know any better. Okay. Delusions are real. Well, I've been checked for all that crap. At least twice. The other thing I mentioned this once. I know I wrote a letter to, just introducing myself to the guys who started Right Taps. Jason, right? A long time ago, right? But I did mention to them because I've run across this a couple times. I don't usually, but if it's somebody I know or it's like, anyway, I will occasionally. That's only if I know I can pick something up way faster, and so sometimes I do, right? Anyway, right. Listen, if you have any kind of seizure disorder that you have been diagnosed with, okay? Yeah, some signs of a grand and petite mal are sensory hallucinations. So those of you thinking you're right, I'm not saying you aren't, but I run across occasions, and that is the case. That person doesn't have a special skill. There's they need to go see a freaking real medical doctor. And it is best to do all that first before you start walking around telling people some shit. That's exactly what happened. Nobody else was smelling it or sensing it. Okay? And it wasn't coming from them. And have the grace and the ambulance people in Harford County, man, you need to update these people's skills. I was told, oh, well, if you were having a seizure, you'd be unconscious. I'm like, do you have any idea what the fuck you're saying? There are plenty of people that have seizures that remain conscious completely. No wonder people are dying on this planet very quickly. I'll handle DeGrasse Tyson. Can leave that one for me. Okay, get it? Okay. Sometimes, yep. Now, some of it is spiritual. I'm not saying it's not, but the right way to do it, no matter what, you gotta get yourself physically checked out. There's shit that could be going on in your right, but especially olfactory hallucinations happen in a certain part of the brain around where many seizure type activities happen. So yeah, I did once. It was local. It was a friend. There had other people, but that was the point. Was this person is just constantly, but thought, like, just kind of built this sort of story in their mind, and thinking that they were sensing a type of spiritual activity. And so people were in there, and, some, right? But, but that wasn't it at all. That wasn't it. Mm-hmm. So I did. I said, okay, well, then just make an appointment and ask your doctor. Look at all the things you've experienced. You understand? Write them down, and then ask your doctor to just look at it and see it from a medical perspective. And that person had a seizure disorder. Had nothing to do, right? But usually seizures, because of the part of brain where some of that activity is usually olfactory hallucinations. And it's just triggering memories, you understand, that your brain can't fully process. Okay, everybody? And that's all that was. It didn't have anything to do with that person has seizure disorder. But keep that in mind. Especially olfactory. Okay, if a lot of people are, and right, you understand, like, if you get 3 or 4 people and they're just walking around and it just comes up suddenly and everybody's like, okay, what does that smell like to you? Okay, you don't say, does that smell like vanilla, because you're leading them wrong. You ask, is anybody else smelling something just suddenly came up? Somebody says yes, another one says yes. Say, does it smell like, it smells like, does it smell like cotton candy? You ask them, like, no, it smells more like, you understand? You can't lead them that way. Anybody smell like vanilla? Sure. Wrong way to do that. That's leading, and it's wrong. And it doesn't produce good results. You understand? There's a difference between, does anybody else smell like vanilla? And saying, does anyone else smell something that suddenly just came up? Man, you get a yes. You get a yes. Okay. So then you can say something. Well, does it kind of smells a little bit like cotton candy? What does it smell like to you guys? That's where the honest answers come in. You guys waste a lot of fucking time and shit. I have no idea why. Because there is no good explanation from anywhere. There's your truth right there. Don't be asking for truth if you don't want it. Okay? That's just that simple. Right. Okay? Everybody start decelerating. And I mean everybody. Because it's in the deceleration where some of that relief's going to start coming. And nobody's gonna be first town. That's not gonna fucking happen. By the way, the International Space Station. Well, I won't put my life on this one, but I will say I bet you my guitar that motherfucking thing is underwater. Prove me fucking wrong.